Hello YouTube, this is Chase versus All. Today I'm going to be talking about how many of each item that we need to build coming out this week. We have a lot of new items coming in today, and we need to kind of figure out how many do we need of each because it's a really good week to farm. So let's get into that. So the first one I want to talk about is the Sword of Light that's going to be coming with Warrior of Light. This is probably, you'll have seen other YouTubers. They'll talk about this. They say build the assault and build a magic. I recommend actually building three. To get straight to the point, you need two assault, you need one magic. This is like one of the best weapons for light users in the game. If we just go, we can see that there are six potential units. One of them technically can't use it, but I think that is a possibility that would get fixed in the future. So I would recommend getting it for that possibility as well. You might be able to put it on Thancred. Um, the other reason is that we have a lot of we have a very diverse light group where you could actually run a whole light team, and you have a tank, you have support. You don't have exactly a healer that is specifically to healing besides Marielle, which might be useful when she gets her EX job. She can do a little bit of healing, but she doesn't have the healing AI. But that is a possibility of running with her. You can take a look at like running Engelbert, Cecil, Ramza, and Warrior of Light. Like any of these, these are all potentially good units that you could put together, or you could put two of them with Yuna. Like running a light comp is such a thing that's doable, and it doesn't feel like you're hurting yourself by having a mono team, unlike other things such as like fire or ice, where you actually have like this weakness that can't be really mitigated without certain rings. Going on to some of the other ones. Um, Oops, I closed the tab. I wanted to kind of talk about this weapon before moving on. This is the bone sword that's going to come. This is the next future item. So one of the potential possibilities is, hey Chase, I have to build three of these. That's going to cost me a lot of books. That's going to cost me a lot of material. What's the next weapon? The next weapon is this one. I don't think you're going to build more than one, just because this is the assault version. There's no real magic version. There's no real reason for to do a vital version. This is what it looks like to be. So you'll want to do just an assault one. And the only characters that really, if you look at the current characters, you're looking for characters that have defense penetration. And defense penetration doesn't really exist with any of these characters, except for like Dwayne, who has the defense penetration up. There are some characters that could probably really benefit from it, such as Titus, where by having that defense penetration up and then using the TMR of Voldoa, that could really boost your defense penetration. But when I look at these characters, I'm looking for characters that get something close to what Winter Victoria can have, and none of them really have passives that boost defense penetration. So you kind of don't really need more than one, because you're only going to be able to really get one unit to really maximize that defense penetration where it actually matters. So yeah, just looking at these characters, it's like it's a hard pass to make more than one. And so you can dump your resources into to the sword, specifically the Sword of Light. Going on to the next one, we're looking at the Golden Blade. This one's a pretty obvious weapon. There aren't really any others besides the sword that gives the great sword with resistance plus 8 of slash resistance. So this sword is just like hands down the best weapon in the game for just attacking. There are others like the ice sword that Orin uses, the Shimmering Blade, I believe it's called, which is really good for him, and I believe Velric or Verlic, however you pronounce it, when he comes out in the future. But for other units, if we look at them, like these are the potential units that can use that blade, and I can foresee in the future using two of these units in a comp. specifically like El Sorel and Stern, the Knight of Ruin version. Like you put them together, I think they'll work really well and synergize, and they'll need this type of weapon. So you should really be farming to assault. The only caveat with that weapon is that it has really low growth stats, so you kind of um, don't really make it unless you get the equipment pass. Like you could potentially get lucky and get the 226, but the average to hit it is so low that it's better to just get the equipment pass and then actually get somewhere near 200. Like I have two of these, and it was the hardest thing. I had to do multiple with the equipment pass multiple times by rehammering it out and then getting it to that max attack with everything maxed out. It is a total bitch and a half to make this weapon maxed. So going on to the next one that comes out with Sweetheart Selir is the Dark Gloves. This weapon is also used with Garvel, as you know, and so you need to have two of these because I can see a potential future where you put Garvel and Selir together. I think even now you can put them together as a 99 and 120. It would be better if Garvel was a 120 unit, but given the fact that they both have like missile attack synergy and magic attack synergy, you can kind of see that having two of these would be really great to basically just wreck a bunch of teams, especially since they have like guaranteed hits. This weapon seems like a no-brainer to make two. And like I did look it up. There's only two Energists in the game, so yeah, even with sub jobs. So yeah. The last thing we're gonna talk about is the Armor of Light. This item was really useful back in the day. I used it a lot, especially with Warrior of Light. I made the defensive version because it gave a little bit of magic resist and it gave defense, so it really helped with kind of like working both sides, because Warrior of Light, as many other YouTubers have explained, is like he does both. He can do both at the same time. He's kind of a jack of all trades, and so by having this armor, it was such a good thing to have, and I used it all the time until Tidus's necklace came out. So if you don't have that Tidus's necklace, then this is a really good piece to use. And the reason why I say like a counter argument could be Chase. That only gives so much spirit, and it gives magic resist, but this one has like this defense up. Well, in the future we're gonna get another raid, and I think it's the next one, and we get this armor. And this armor is just like hands down better than it because it gets that extra 2%. It gets spirit. You can also decide to do a defensive build, and it gets an 11-10. That's a good split, in my opinion. So if you can make two of these, obviously you can't make it two on the first round, but as you create these, you'll be able to make more. Like I just finished the Brigadine. I have 3 of them now. So you'll eventually be able to make these. And so what that means, because this future that we know is happening with this armor is going to become, relatively obsolete. So what I would do, if you're going to make it, you just make one, or you just don't make any and you just grab the recipes and move on. That's really all I would say about it. It's just not going to be the best armor in the game for you unless you're trying to do a very specific, mixed build with Warrior of Light. Then I could see some potential, but I think what's going to happen is that it's going to be just better to have this armor and maybe just run the defensive and spirit one. It's a tough answer. Like it gets a little bit more HP, 200. It just seems like a better armor overall. So I think you can skip this one if you want to save your armor books. All right, that's all I have to say. I hope it helps. Have a nice rest of your day.